The air was thick with the kind of suburban silence that screams trouble's brewing. Karen Miller, all 300 pounds of her, waddled into the park like she owned every blade of grass, her sisters trailing like a posse of entitlement. It was a quiet evening in Oak Ridge, the kind where kids' laughter usually echoed off the swings. But today, the park was a stage, and I, Marcus Reed, was about to become the unwilling star of Karen's latest drama. I'm a licensed concealed carry holder, a black man who knows his rights and walks with the kind of calm that comes from years of navigating spaces where you're always the other. My Glock was holstered, legal, and out of sight until Karen's eagle eyes decided it was her business. There he is. Karen's voice sliced through the dusk, shrill enough to make a dog wince. She pointed a manicured finger at me, her face twisted in a mix of fear and triumph. He's got a gun. I saw it. Her sisters, Linda and Cheryl, flanked her like backup singers in a bad reality show. Linda, the skinnier one with a perm that screamed 1985, was already dialing 911. Cheryl, who matched Karen's size and attitude, was filming me with her phone, narrating like she was auditioning for a true crime podcast. I stopped walking, hands visible, palms open. "Ma'am," I said, voice steady, "I'm legally carrying. I have a permit." I'd been through this before too many times. The script was familiar, the accusation, the escalation, the inevitable police sirens. But this time, the Karens had miscalculated. Karen stomped closer, her flip-flops slapping the pavement like tiny thunderclaps. "Don't you ma'am me. You think you can just walk around here, scaring people? This is our neighborhood." Her voice dripped with the kind of venom that comes from years of unchecked privilege. Linda was on the phone now, her voice rising in a theatrical panic. "Officer, there's a man with a gun. He's threatening us. Hurry." I stood my ground, heart pounding but face calm. "I haven't threatened anyone. I'm just walking home." My words were for the sisters, but also for the small crowd starting to gather, dog walkers, joggers, a mom with a stroller, all watching the scene unfold like it was a live-action soap opera. Cheryl, still filming, leaned in, her voice a conspiratorial hiss. "We're not safe with people like you around." The emphasis on people wasn't subtle. I felt the familiar sting, the one that comes when someone reduces you to a stereotype. But I wasn't here to play their game. I kept my hands visible, my tone even. "You're making this about race, not my gun. That's on you." The crowd murmured. A few phones were out now, recording the recorders. Karen's face reddened further, if that was even possible. "Don't you dare call me a racist," she shrieked, her chins quivering with indignation. "I'm protecting my community." Linda nodded vigorously, still on the phone, while Cheryl zoomed in on my face, probably hoping for a reaction she could twist into a viral clip. Minutes later, 2 police cruisers rolled up, lights flashing. The officers, a young white guy and an older black woman, stepped out. The white cop, Officer Daniels, looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. The black officer, Sergeant Brooks, had the kind of no-nonsense vibe that said she'd seen this movie before. Karen launched into her performance, gesturing wildly. "He's got a gun. He's dangerous. We're terrified." Her sisters chimed in, a chorus of exaggerated fear. I stayed still, hands up, and calmly explained my side. "Licensed carry, no threats, just a guy walking home." I offered to show my permit, keeping my movements slow and deliberate. Sergeant Brooks took the lead, her eyes scanning the scene. She checked my permit, nodded, and handed it back. "You're good, Mr. Reed," she said, loud enough for the crowd to hear. Then she turned to Karen, her gaze sharpening. "Ma'am, you called 911 claiming an active threat. Where's the threat?" Karen sputtered, pointing at me. "He's got a gun. In our park." Brooks didn't blink. "He's within his rights." "You know what's not within your rights? Filing a false police report." The crowd's murmurs grew louder. Karen's smugness faltered, replaced by a flicker of panic. Daniels, the younger cop, was checking something on his phone. He whispered to Brooks, who nodded. "Ma'am," Brooks continued, addressing Karen, "we've got multiple witnesses saying you and your sisters targeted this man based on his race. That's a problem." Linda, still clutching her phone, tried to pivot. We didn't say anything about race. We're just concerned citizens. But the crowd wasn't buying it. A jogger, a middle-aged white guy with a beard, stepped forward. I heard them. They called him people like you. It was clear what they meant. Cheryl's phone was still rolling, but now it was capturing her own downfall. The crowd was turning, their whispers becoming a chorus of disapproval. Karen, sensing the shift, doubled down. This is outrageous. You're taking his side because he's black. The words hung in the air like a confession. Even Linda froze, realizing the hole they'd dug. Brooks raised an eyebrow. Ma'am, you just made this a lot easier. She turned to Daniels. Cuff him. All three. The crowd erupted in gasps and scattered applause as Karen, Linda, and Cheryl were read their rights. Karen's protest grew incoherent, a mix of "This is America" and "I know the mayor." Cheryl's phone clattered to the ground, still recording. Linda just sobbed, her perm deflating with her bravado. As the sisters were led to the cruisers, Brooks approached me. You okay, Mr. Reed? I nodded, the adrenaline finally hitting. Yeah, thanks for handling it. She gave a small smile. We're not all bad. Stay safe. The crowd dispersed, some offering nods of support, others shaking their heads at the Karen spectacle. I picked up a crumpled note from a nearby bench, left by some unknown ally. Scrawled in bold marker were the words, Karen's racism backfires. I tucked it in my pocket, a small trophy of justice. The next day, the story hit local news. HOA sisters arrested for false 911 call, racial bias, the headline read. Social media exploded, with Cheryl's own video damning them further. The sisters faced charges for filing a false report and, thanks to the crowd's testimony, a civil rights violation. Their HOA board, desperate to save face, stripped them of their positions. Karen's name became a cautionary tale, whispered in the cul-de-sacs of Oak Ridge. But for me, it wasn't about victory. It was about walking home without being a target. It was about the jogger who spoke up, the crowd that recorded, the cop who listened. It was about the system, for once, bending toward justice. I'd carry my gun again tomorrow, not out of defiance, but because it's my right. And next time, maybe the Karens of the world would think twice. The end.